Hey, beautiful birds and bees roaming this wonderful, beautiful planet, Star Oracle, on I don't know what day it is, and it doesn't matter. Anyway, hope everybody's well. So actually I was contacted last week by a tuber who does a lot of tubing, and apparently given view count versus opposables versus subscribers, it's been determined that I have stalker bots. How 8th house. What are you going to do? Is what it is. Yes. So thank you for the people who do thumb. But as I mentioned before too, I noticed they're taking away my views, which is kind of cool. Like I'm all over that Aquarius stuff. It's the Aquarius rising. Anyway, so real quickly, I'm going to do a day in the life of an 8th house person. This occurred yesterday in the workplace. So, as an 8th house moon, I was approached by a coworker who, in his very hospitable type of personality, had marched out one of the conference rooms and marched into my office and proceeded to say the following. Darcy, I can't believe these passive-aggressive types on these conference calls, blah, 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 blah. It's a little disgruntled. My reply, well, you gotta have the PAs mixed in with the aggressors. It gives for a good balance. His reply back to me, well, you know what? It reminds me of my wife right now. Boom. Straight away, right into the bad marriage talk. As an 8th house moon, we know, sit and listen, because it makes no difference, because you are going to be presented, and you have been presented most of your life with people telling you their dirt. So, after him chomping at the bit for about a good 8 minutes, and 8 minutes is a long time, you guys, to hear someone out, but we hear them out, don't we? Pluto in the 8th, possibly giving them advice, whatever you may want to add to possibly curb their disgruntledness. So it got me thinking, and I replied to, we'll call him Dan. I replied to Dan. I said, hey, you know what? I get that, it's your early 50s, and your wife has probably entered a serious state of subjective dementia, because as I've mentioned before in previous videos, people lose their shit at midlife, and it's not easy because women seem to carry it on into their 50s, possibly their 60s, who knows, maybe the rest of their fucking life. You say, Star, why are you so down on the women? It's neither the women or the men. It's how you conduct yourself as a human being, right? Do you seek balance? I don't know. Do you? Is that important to you? Does it matter if you're male, female? So what I brought up to Dan was I said, hey, well, you know what? You can join this new current movement called MGTOW. He kind of looked at me funny, like, excuse what? I briefly explained to him what he could embark on. I got nothing against MGTOW. But the strange thing is, men have been going their own way for a long time. I've got, I guess what will be classified as 2 MGTOWs in my life, and they're mid-50s, late 50s. Never been married, never had kids. It's what they chose. You shouldn't be upset about a current social movement or bashing each other about it. Just go on and do your own thing. As if women haven't been going their own way, you know, look to the media for that sort of crap. If you don't want to be bombarded by horrible romantic movies, don't date that girl. Date the Star Wars girl. Okay, if you don't want to go on a vacation to Disney World, don't date that girl. Date a more adventurous type of person. So after explaining to him what he possibly could have if he were just to call it quits in his marriage and move along on his own way, his end result, after a long conversation, was, well, you know what, I guess it's all sacrifice because she'll at least be there in the end. Got me to reply to him again. In having a conversation with one of my MGTOW buddies, and this was a couple of years ago, he said, Darce, you know, if there's one thing I could hopefully ask from you, he said, would you mind being there in the end if we're still friends? And I chuckled, and I'm like, yeah, of course, no problem. Like, it's not even it's something I have to think about. He knows I work in hospice, and it just is what it is. I'm just that person. So what is it about the human condition that is this sort of in the end as long as someone's there, right? We go about living our lives and trying to make meaning of it and get in these or go through these life situations that, you know, either give us great insight to wisdom, or you're just this philandering, I don't know, vampire, I suppose. And in the end, it all means what? So it's I guess the meaning you give it. So all in all, right, that one moment of being an 8th house person and truly having to hear this guy's personal dirt. I don't want to go into it, but man, it got, as much as I wanted to shrug, I couldn't shrug. I just tried to show him, you know, both sides of the fence. Hey, here's my personal interaction with the guy friends I have that have been going their own way for decades now. You can either join the club or not join the club. And I'd have to say at the end of it, he just really wanted that security. But like most human beings, it's very normal, it's very a natural thing. But there's a lot of people who that's not the end goal. And the end goal is to make some sort of meaning out of it. So to wrap this up, I probably should have done it in reverse. And this is just sidebar stuff. You know, for all you young kids out there who might be chiming in, Trump's in the process of reform. Now, if you have any concept of what that means, and if you can possibly get any sort of financial backing for yourself in the next 3 to 4 years, I highly suggest that you look at what his administration is doing and that you take this and try to make a reward from it. If not, it'll be a good lesson. There's a lot of people out there on YouTube who don't know what the fuck they're talking about in regards to our monetary system. 3 types of people I do not trust it in just in passing or conversations. 1, the person who has no understanding at a basic level of the GDP and economic reform. 2, 5 heads. I absolutely do not trust 5 heads. 3, anybody who cannot and will not entertain Rick and Morty. Those 3 types of human beings, forget it. You won't get it. I want nothing to do with you. So, anyway. And going back to a post, because of the nasty emails that I've received over the last week, going back to a post from 2 weeks ago, just when you got to go through all the garbage on YouTube, you find total nuggets of gold. You find really great females. So I'm going to put the channels to 2 gals that I recently found. One is Brittany Gray. She's hilarious. For all my young girls who are watching this video, check her out because she's got the lowdown on not looking utter face, right? She's got the beauty regime down, so check her out. And the other girl, I don't want to botch her name, super cute Asian gal. I think she's come out of college, or she's possibly going back to college, but she's got some really sort of great insight for someone her age, and at a very humble, or kind of very practical level in how she deals with her audience. So check her out too. All right, you guys, just a day in the life of an 8th house person. And MGTOW, you guys do your thing. I mean, I don't blame either side, actually. It's a little messed up in this last 10 to 15 years, but I'm not going to say the word. You know why.